Hello, and welcome to my project. So, as I was thinking about what I wanted to do for this project, I decided that it had to be something practical, something that I actually use. And one thing that I've been learning a lot about in other classes is about family finances and budgeting and those kinds of practical applications, especially because, um, I'm at that point in my life where I need to figure that out. And so, with this project, I decided that I wanted to try a couple of things. I wanted to make a current work schedule, show the hours I'm working and roughly a before tax budget I would be able to work with, some of my expenses, and my potential dream budget. And I'll go into detail a little more as we go through these. So, my current work schedule, some of these numbers are fudged just for, privacy's sake. But this is my employee timesheet, and as you can tell, I work at the MTC. And so these are some of the hours that I've worked over the last pay period. And what I like about this formula, or this timesheet, is that I've put in formulas to help me track how many hours I work. And I formatted it slightly differently than the timesheet that we worked on in class, because these two middle columns were like clock out for lunch and clock back in for lunch. But at the MTC we can punch in for a shift and we'll work a shift, and then it's not guaranteed that we'll come back. Sometimes we'll have a meeting in the evening, so that's why I just have a start time, end time, and then a start time, end time column right next to it. And so you can see that the total hours column is comprised of the values of this cell here, G8 minus F8, and then in addition to EH minus DH. So the idea behind this is just to be able to count the separate hours without any errors. And so the pattern is the same going down the column. So I've copied that. I was able to write it into the one cell and copy it down. And then this one is slightly different. I just copied this cell, the value of H8, into the period for total hours within the period. And then I would multiply the next cell under it by the cell above it times the cell to the right. So it would give me a total accumulating hours of what was going on. Keeping in mind that once it hit the 24 hours, then it would loop back to 0. But to fix that, I went to the format cells and I put brackets around the H's. And then because some of these hours, Wednesday through Friday, were time and a half because of Thanksgiving break, I created regular pay, holiday pay, hours. I wish I made that much money. But then multiplying that, you figure out that I roughly before taxes would make about that much money. I wish. So anyways, that is my budget and formulas idea for currently what I have. This expenses sheet I'm kind of excited about. I figured out that from my bank I can download a CVS file or CSV file to be able to track my expenses. And I've cut out some expenses, and I've modified some of the values, for privacy's sake. But what I wanted to do with this is organize the data. And right now it doesn't look all that organized, but what I did over here is I made this cross tabulation table where I took the values, and in this cell is where I did most of the work. What I did is I had this cell, I get the sum of, and then this date, so any time, any date, any purchase that was made on this day, times whatever this category is, times the amount of money spent. I just labeled it moolah spent. would give me the amount of money that I had either earned or lost. So the negative implies that that was money spent. Positive for deposit, for example, is money that I put into my account. And so I copied it to this cell and then copied it all the way down and to the right and all the way down, keeping in mind that I had to put the $sign in front of this J so that it would constantly be pulling from this cell, not from this cell and this cell as you copied it down. And for the category, putting the $sign by the 3 so that it would be copying from this row and not this row and this row and this row and this row. So I was quite proud of that. This is actually something that I am excited to use after this class, so I can track my spending a little more specifically, and in a way I can manipulate the data more than just opening up my bank account. Finally, with my dream budget, what I wanted to do with this is have a dream budget of $10,000 a month. And I created this budget, nothing fancy, just some ideal numbers, essentially. And then potential dream places, dream homes. And I wanted to have a little variety, so I put mobile home, twin, normal, single family home, and a mansion. And then I pulled these prices from some places I found on Realtor.com in Fort Worth, because they had more reasonable housing prices than back in Denver where I live. And then I put down just a couple of example, like an example interest rate, example loan terms for a 15-year or 30-year loan, example down payments. And my idea behind this was to create these tables showing what would be the best kind of loan versus down payment combo. And I know that, it's a lot more, there's a lot more involved with this. There's more down payment options and loan options than just this, interest rates, but I wanted to do this for an example. And I liked this idea. So what I ended up doing was I started creating these mega formulas. So with the data that I have up here, with the home prices, and the different interest rates and down payments, I started creating mega formulas. So the down payment was easy, and then loan amount you just keep adding on, making your mega formula until it's really intense and complicated by the time you get to the total cost of your home. And so I did this with all the 4 tables, and then what I decided to do was I used conditional formatting under the monthly payments to highlight which of the cells would give me, if I open it up, which of the cells would give me less than $2,000 a month. So if the cell value is less than $2,000, then it would highlight in green, which is good because according to my dream budget for housing, I've put aside $2,000. If it did not fall, within that, it just wouldn't even highlight. Over here in the total cost of the home, the ones that didn't fit my budget, I did conditional formatting just to automatically color it in red, saying like those are ones to like really avoid. As you can see here, that if the value, which is here in this cell or in this column, is greater than 2,000, then color it in red because that's just not even an option. And then from there you can pick your home options and whatever you want. But I was quite excited about this, starting to think about a dream home and whatnot. And then as I assessed my project, I do think it was right on target. It was about right. It wasn't nothing too intense. I didn't want to cry after doing it. And if it provided useful review in terms of like financial decisions, yes. The occasional conditional formatting thing as well. There's a couple other ideas I had with this project, but hopefully I've satisfied the requirements.